DJ Payne 1.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the CEO Sports Show for September 17th, 2025. I am fired up today because I feel really passionate about one of the topics that we're going to be talking about. Before we get into the episode, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. We just hit 500 subscribers yesterday. I greatly appreciate that. About a month and a half into the show, and you guys have shown me a tremendous amount of support. I just want to say thank you very much. I appreciate that, and it really means the world to me. And we have big plans for Kretschman Media as a whole, looking to turn this into a full-time thing come January, February, whatever it may be, because I really want to make this happen and provide the best content in the industry. But make sure to go check out the other pages on Kretschman Media. I would greatly appreciate that. Okoye Knows Boxing, fantastic boxing show. If you're a big boxing fan, he's incredible. The Stadium Pulse, college football, Dubs Room, basketball, the Mic Drop, sports. So many good things happening here on Kretschman Media. I would appreciate it if you guys checked it out. We're going to be talking about Tom Brady and the clear and blatant conflict of interest that is going on right now. We're going to be talking about A.J. Brown and why I think the Eagles, maybe not this offseason, but next offseason, could be trading him. I want to talk about Mike McDaniel, and I want to talk about some things with the AFC. But make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into the episode. Okay, let's talk about the biggest story in football at the current moment. Tom Brady should absolutely not be able to commentate football games for Fox Sports. It's absolutely crazy that he is even allowed to. They give commentators behind the scenes access to football teams that you don't get everywhere else. Tom Brady is a part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah, coaches may be smart enough to say, oh, okay, this is Tom Brady. He owns part of the Raiders. But players, they're going to look and they're going to be like, Caleb Williams, he's calling his game this Sunday, right? The Bears play the Raiders next week. You think Caleb Williams, he's talking to Tom Brady. You don't think Tom Brady is going to be asking him, hey, in 3rd and 5, what's your philosophy here? What are you looking at pre-snap? How do you read pre-snap? And all these other things that he could get inside access to. Do you think with that information, he's not telling the people on the Las Vegas Raiders about that? The only reason why people don't care about this is because the Las Vegas Raiders are not good. That's the only reason why this isn't a bigger story than what it is. If this was the Philadelphia Eagles or the Green Bay Packers or the Buffalo Bills that Tom Brady had part ownership of, and he had this gig, this would be a way bigger story. But because the Las Vegas Raiders aren't good, people don't care because it's the Raiders. But this is absolutely a problem. In no world should he be able to commentate football games when you have that much access behind the scenes. This is information he has. If he gets the information from teams, there is nothing stopping him from going back to the team that he's a part owner of and telling them all the information that they learned about the team. There's nothing that's stopping him at all from doing that. And to the people on ESPN, by the way, the little Dan Orlovskis and all those guys that want to be friends with Tom Brady and care more about that relationship than telling the truth to their audience, how about you tell the truth to your damn audience? This is a conflict of interest. This is a gigantic problem that the NFL has on their hands. Whether you want to say it's a problem or not doesn't mean that it's not reality, that it is a problem. When you are a fan of a team and you're playing the Las Vegas Raiders, you are going to be thinking about that the entire time. You are going to be thinking about Tom Brady had behind the scenes access to my football team. And now the football team that he is a part owner of is playing my football team. This is not about appeasing Tom Brady. This is not about appeasing Las Vegas Raiders. This is about being true to the fans. This is about providing a product to the fans where they don't have to question the integrity of the game. This absolutely fans should be questioning the integrity of the game and should absolutely be questioning, is this guy giving information to the coaches? You don't think Tom Brady is smart enough that if people are telling him information, he's not going to tell his coaching staff? He's not going to tell people in his organization? This is a massive red flag. No world should he be able to commentate football games. The NFL needs to step in and say, hey, Tom, you have one of two options. You either sell your stake in the Las Vegas Raiders or you drop this commentary gig. You can't do both. It's a clear and blatant, obvious conflict of interest. And fans are going to be questioning the integrity of the game at that point. And the only reason why people don't care is because the Raiders aren't good. They haven't been good in years. But guess what? Just because they're not a good football team doesn't mean they can't ruin a team's season. If a team late in the season needs to make the playoffs, they need to win against the Raiders. That absolutely affects the NFL. This is an absolute joke. And the fact that people on mainstream media and ESPN and Fox Sports 1 aren't in an outrage about this is absolutely ridiculous to me. This is a gigantic problem for the NFL. And if you're a fan and you feel a certain type of way about this, don't you let these people on ESPN tell you that you shouldn't feel a certain type of way about this. It is not on the fans to try and look at something like that and be told, no, it's actually not what it is. No, it is what it is. It's a clear and blatant advantage for the Las Vegas Raiders. And again, if this was a good football team that Tom Brady was a part owner of, be a completely different story. But that's besides the point. It's not besides the point. It literally is the point. But I'm sorry. I'm very worked up about this. I want to move on to the Philadelphia Eagles and talk about A.J. Brown. I believe that the Eagles are going to end up trading A.J. Brown. Not this season, not this offseason, but next offseason. I think the Eagles are going to try and move on from A.J. Brown. They'll be able to work something out. And honestly, it would make a lot of sense. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, right now, A.J. Brown is 28 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, he's 28 years old. So he's going to be, by the time of next offseason, he will be 29 years old. And I think at that point, 29 years old, he's going to be hitting the back nine of his career. If Howie Roseman could get a second-round pick for A.J. Brown, I think he's going to take that. Again, not this offseason, next offseason. Because when I look at that, I would say you traded a first-round pick to get him. You got a top 5 receiver, for the sake of not getting into an argument about this, easily a top 5 receiver in the game that played at an extremely high level for you and helped you get to a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. And then when he's 29 years old, you're able to move off him for a second round pick. You essentially just moved back 30 spots in a draft, essentially from the 2022 draft to the 2027 draft, right? Like, I think that would be a fantastic deal for Howie Roseman, because at the end of the day, the Eagles don't need A.J. Brown to run their offense. Like, they don't. Like, yeah, the space that he's able to create on the field because of his presence, that is absolutely a thing. But at the same time, Jalen Hurts is not getting him the football. So if you can move off him next offseason and commit to your identity of running the football more, I think that that's something that Howie Roseman would absolutely look to do. And not only that, that's just being a smart general manager. Trade a guy a year early before you, it's better to trade a guy a year early than a year late. And I think Howie Roseman would look at that and he would say, we'd be trading a guy a year early before it's a year too late. I think that it would be a fantastic idea for the Eagles. And I think that it's something that they should absolutely look into. Again, not this offseason. And I mean, I'm hearing people say that A.J. Brown might get traded in the season. Are you guys stupid? Like, respectfully, like, sometimes I have to ask these questions. Why in the world would the Eagles trade A.J. Brown in the season? They're trying to win another Super Bowl. You want to know what's easier to do when you have A.J. Brown? Win a Super Bowl. You want to know what's harder to do when you don't have A.J. Brown? Win a Super Bowl. They're not going to trade him in the season. It makes absolutely no sense. They'll trade him in the offseason, if anything. But I don't believe that A.J. Brown is going to be with the Eagles for like 2 years from now. He's not going to be with the Eagles. I don't see that happening. But again, that would just be, smart. That'd just be a smart decision by the Eagles. Trade a guy a year early before a year late. It's the most common thing in sports. Yet, for some reason, we don't do that anymore. Like, the Patriots gave people the blueprint on how to consistently have a really good football team. Now, mind you, I didn't say great football team. I said really good, right? When guys are showing signs of decline, you trade the guy. Move on from him. That's what New England did for 20 years plus. And they were able to build great team after great team. Granted, they did have the greatest quarterback of all time. But again, you could still build your team like New England did and have a good quarterback and still be really good for a long time. So, I really just, I give my hats off to Howie Roseman for this trade. I mean, the fact that he was able to trade only a first-round pick. I believe there was another pick attached to that. I think it was a fifth-round pick, if I'm not mistaken. But even still, a first and a fifth for A.J. Brown, the production that he's been giving that team, I mean, forget about it. The Titans were absolutely stupid to move on from him. But that's what, like, Howie Roseman does, and that's why I'm very confident that he would be okay with moving on from A.J. Brown. He did it with Hassan Reddick. He was like, look, we're not going to pay you. We're not going to extend you. We think that your best days aren't here anymore. So they traded him. Good for him. I mean, Hassan Reddick has not been that big of a factor ever since he's left the Eagles. And they've drafted guys to replace him. I mean, that's how you win a lot of games. There's no secret as to why the Eagles have won a lot of games. It's because their general manager does an excellent job of making moves and maneuvering within the salary cap and making trades, like potentially trading A.J. Brown next offseason. That's why that team stays good. And I mean, it like, to them, it's all about assets, right? If you give the Eagles assets, they're going to turn them into good players. By thick or thin, they're going to turn them into good players. I mean, you look at what happened with the Carson Wentz trade and the guys he was able to get, Howie Roseman, that is, from the Carson Wentz trade. They built a Super Bowl team off the backs of that Carson Wentz trade. I mean, it's incredible what he was able to turn that trade into. So it would make a lot of sense that, hey, we traded a first-round pick for A.J. Brown. We got one of the best receivers in the league over a span of years. And now we're going to trade him for a second round pick. There's going to be teams out there that are willing to give you that. I mean, there's going to be maybe he goes back to the Tennessee Titans. Maybe there's a quarterback this year. Maybe Garrett Nussmeier goes to the New Orleans Saints and they're like, hey, we need to get him a receiver. Go trade for A.J. Brown. I mean, I as an Eagles fan, I understand why you'd be against it because you want to see this guy play out the rest of his career in midnight green. But from a front office standpoint, it's a good idea. It would be a good idea to do that. Again, next offseason. I have to stress that because people are going to be like, how could you trade A.J. Brown this offseason? You still have a window. I get it. I don't think they should. But like these players don't play at a high level forever. You know, the NFL cycles guys in and out every single year. And this is just a guy that's going to be next on that totem pole. So, yeah, good start to the show today. This has been a lot of fun so far. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that, guys. You guys have been absolutely fantastic to me. The support has not gone unnoticed, and it is greatly appreciated. So I want to move on to Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins. I think that the Dolphins should move on from Mike McDaniel this offseason. Yeah, I get it. How can you move on from that guy? Look at the plays he can draw up and look at the offense he can draw up. Coaching is more than, coaching is more than just drawing up cool plays. Coaching is about leading a group of men, both offensively and defensively, because even if you're an offensive-minded head coach, you are still the head coach of the football team. That means head coach of the offense, head coach of the defense, head coach of the special teams. And a team takes on the identity of their coach, right? So when you have a guy like Mike McDaniel, I'm not saying anything about him personally, but the way he likes to play football is it's a soft brand of football. Let's just call it what it is. If everyone's if everybody's analysis on the Miami Dolphins, pretty much everybody's analysis is that they're a soft football team, it's because they're a soft football team. And ask yourself this question. I always say this when it comes to moving on from coaches or quarterbacks. Can you see your organization winning a Super Bowl with either your quarterback or your coach or both of them? It might be both. You might have to look at both of them and say, okay, we can win with this coach, but not this quarterback. We can win with this quarterback, but not this coach. We can't win with both the quarterback and the head coach. But I'm more so specifically talking about Mike McDaniel today because that's the topic of this. I don't think you're winning a Super Bowl with Mike McDaniel. And if you don't think you can win a Super Bowl with the guy, move on. Don't waste time. Why would you do that? I say this all the time about coaches and quarterbacks. If you don't think you win a Super Bowl with the guy, move on. There's no reason to keep him there. Do you think the Miami Dolphins can win a Super Bowl with Mike McDaniel as their head coach? Because now in football, we have been conditioned to say, oh, this team can get to the divisional round. This team can get here, and this team can not win a Super Bowl. And we're like, oh, well, sign this guy. Re-sign this coach. Let him keep his job. No, the question always has to be, can we win a Super Bowl with the guy? And if the answer is no, move on. Don't waste time. It's why they never should have signed Tua. I mean, the Miami Dolphins, I have this question. If anybody from the organization is watching, I know you're probably not because you have better things to do, mainly called running a football team. Did you actually think you were going to win a Super Bowl with Tua Tagovailoa? Like, let me just ask you that question again. Do the Miami Dolphins actually believe they're winning a Super Bowl with Tua Tagovailoa? Because I think if you asked a lot of executives out there, is this team going to win a Super Bowl with Tua Tagovailoa? They would probably all say no. I think every executive would say no. Because I think that when you look at the AFC, especially in the AFC, you're not winning a Super Bowl in the AFC with that guy as your quarterback. Then why? At that point, why would you re-sign the guy? Because now you're kind of stuck with him for the next few years. And I just don't think you can win a Super Bowl with that type of quarterback. I don't think that archetype is conducive to success in the postseason. He's a guy that has a weak arm. Guys that have weak arms don't translate well in the postseason. Why? Because when you're in the postseason and you have to go to Buffalo or Baltimore or Kansas City because you're not winning in your division with Buffalo in the division, can you make the throws that you need to make in that weather to win the game? And I don't think you can say yes to that when it comes to Tua. So if you're the Dolphins, you have to ask, quarterback, head coach, is this the deal? And if their answer is yes, I have serious questions about their decision makers. As soon as they can move on from Tua, they got to move on from Tua. As soon as they can move on from Mike McDaniel, which is probably now, got to move on from Mike McDaniel. You're not winning a Super Bowl with either of those guys. They're both the problem. Because when I look at this team, and I've looked at them for the past few years, they're a soft football team. They don't have a physical culture. And when I look at their quarterback, I look and I see, okay, he can execute an offense, but it's not about just executing an offense. If you want to win a Super Bowl, it's not just about having a quarterback that can execute an offense, unless you have an insanely good team like the Philadelphia Eagles, like the San Francisco 49ers from last year. But here's the thing. If you have to ask yourself, can this quarterback win a Super Bowl? And the answer is, well, if we build a roster like the Eagles in 24 and the Niners in 23, he can win a Super Bowl. You know how hard it is to build a roster that's that good? Like, those are rosters that you don't see very often. That's how good and how talented those rosters were. So that should never be the answer to your question. You should never move forward with a player or a coach if you say, if we make our team one of the greatest supporting casts of all time, then yes, we can win a Super Bowl with this guy. Because the likelihood that that happens is slim to none, especially when you're paying these guys the money that you're paying them. Well, in particular, Tua. He's a quarterback that needs a lot of help. And when I mean a lot, I mean a lot. Like, he needs a better offensive line. He needs better receivers. And the receivers are really good. But even still, he needs better receivers. He needs better guys in the running back room. He needs a better defense. He needs so many things around him to win a Super Bowl. I just don't know how you come to the conclusion where you say, yep, we're good with moving along with Tua, knowing that we're going to have to completely stack this roster for him to win a Super Bowl. Again, it's just, he can do it under those circumstances, but the ability to actually execute and do what you have to do to build that type of team, it's slim to none. Okay, last topic of the day. I want to talk about the AFC here for a second. Talk about the teams in the AFC that I think are separating themselves. When I look at the AFC, I see two teams that stand out. I see the Bills and I see the Baltimore Ravens. I think it's one of those teams that are going to win this conference. But if you're one of these teams like the Los Angeles Chargers, where I think they might be the third best team in that conference at the current moment, you know, this is like a golden opportunity for them, because at the end of the day, teams do not feel sorry for you when your players get injured. So you should not be feeling sorry for other teams when their players get injured. If they get injury luck in terms of their guys staying healthy and they run into a situation where, you know, Lamar Jackson, if he's out or Josh Allen's out, again, it's situations, it's scenarios, not wishing upon it on anybody. But if injuries come your way, you have to take advantage of that. Can the Los Angeles Chargers take advantage of that? I mean, they have a quarterback that can go toe to toe with the quarterbacks on those teams. I mean, I think there is a small gap between the tier 1 and the tier 2 of quarterbacks, but Justin Herbert is at the very top of that tier 2, very top of it. He's absolutely a guy that you can win a Super Bowl because of. Do they have the roster and do they have the team to pull that off? We'll see. We've seen some good things so far from the Los Angeles Chargers. But the question that I have is, okay, you beat the Chiefs week 1. What are the Chiefs? The Chiefs have been flat out disappointing so far this season. And I was somebody who said, I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. Because when you have the pieces that you have, when you have the coach, when you have the quarterback like they have, you always have to shoe them in for a potential Super Bowl run. But to say they haven't been disappointing would be me lying to you guys. And I don't want to lie to you guys. I want to tell you guys the truth. And the truth of the matter is the Chiefs just aren't that good this year. And the AFC is wide open. And to me, it starts with, like the two teams it starts with is Ravens and the Bills. Like one of those teams, they have to capitalize on the opportunity that they have this year. They have the opportunity to win the Super Bowl, both of those teams, which is why I think one of those teams will win it this year. But it's about, okay, come postseason time, we see what both of these quarterbacks can do. We see what Josh Allen does, and we see what Lamar Jackson doesn't do in the postseason. And I think right now, if I were to pick a team to win the Super Bowl, it would be the Buffalo Bills, because I believe in what their quarterback can do. I believe in his ability to elevate the talent around him. And when you look at the NFL this year, I don't see a single great team in the NFL. I know people will say the Packers. I don't think they're a great team. But when I look at the Bills, I don't think they're a great team, but I think that this is a team that has been around the rim for so long. They have a quarterback who I think is just the best player in football as a whole, and he elevates his play in the postseason. I look at the Bills and I say, you want to know what? They can make this thing happen. And this is the year where I think they got to move forward and make this thing happen. And the only reason why I'm not picking the Ravens to win the Super Bowl, even though I do think they're the best team in the NFL right now, is because I don't 100% trust Lamar Jackson in the postseason. I'm sorry, I don't. Like, we've seen it time and time and time again. You know, until he proves me wrong, it's something I kind of have to see it before I believe it. I think he can do it. It's kind of just like Dak Prescott. I think he can do it, but he has to show me he can do it. And even when you compare the two, like Dak Prescott's played better in the playoffs than Lamar Jackson, but that's besides the point. Like, when you look at the AFC, like, this is a golden year if you're one of those teams that aren't Buffalo, Baltimore, and Kansas City to really make advancements in your pursuit of a Super Bowl. And I think the Chargers are taking full advantage of that. I thought the Steelers were a team that was going to take advantage of that, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. You know, the Colts in Indianapolis, maybe they could be a team that makes some noise in the AFC. But when I look at the conference, it's an extremely weak conference from the standpoint of outside of Baltimore and Buffalo, there's really not anything in this conference that you look at and say, wow, I have to pay attention to that team, because that team is really, really good. Like, maybe the Chargers, you could say the Chargers, maybe, but even still, I have my questions about that team. They started out hot last year, and eventually towards the end of the year, they started to fade. That's going to be it for the CEO Sports Show for today, guys. I appreciate you guys for coming out. It's Wednesday. We have 2 more days till Friday, only 2 more, even though we still have to get through today. So it's essentially 3 days, but like technically it's 2 more days till Friday. So we'll get through it like we always do. Please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. Make sure to check out the other shows on the Kretschman Media Network. I greatly appreciate you guys for coming out, and I will see you guys on the next episode.